Hello, my name is Tom. I'll be presenting today's video, Settlement Transaction Summary Report for Communique for Amazon Seller Central, the reporting, analytics, business intelligence, and data mining for your Amazon sales. Let's go to Report Overview. The report provides a high-level view of revenues, fees, and charges from your settlement reports. It displays aggregated totals of transactions for the date period and options selected. It's designed to assist with your accounting for Amazon sales fees and charges. This report is available in both standard and enterprise editions. So let's get started with transaction summary report. Okay, so in order to access the transaction summary report, we need to go to the settle section, select transaction summary. Here's the report. Now what we need to do is we need to search for transactions. We can do that by initiating a search here on the ribbon bar, or right mouse click on search, or your keyboard shortcut Control S. So let's talk about the search options first. All right, so in the General tab, let's start on the right side. You see where it says Date Range. That limits the transactions to the date range selected. The date options by default is deposit date. You can also use any of the other date options if you prefer. The only other one I would recommend would be transaction date. However, there are particular issues with transaction date you need to be aware of. First off, let's say you had a merchant sale and the sale occurred end of April. And for whatever reason you weren't able to get the tracking ID up to Amazon in time, maybe it was end of May before that even happened, and next thing you know, it's the first or middle of June before you get paid on that transaction. So you can already see where if you use transaction date, that transaction date is actually in April, whereas you didn't really get paid for it until it was deposited to your account, and that wasn't until June. This is one of the reasons why deposit date is probably the preferred date to use when you're doing this kind of accounting and looking at these transactions, but you can use transaction date if it works out for you. Okay, so let's look at the right side and talk about some of the other options. The data options section has the ignore dates. Essentially what that does is it ignores all date options on the right side of the data filters. I will talk to you or explain to you a little bit later how that's helpful, particularly helpful when you're working or filtering by settlements. You can also filter by fulfillment type and transaction types. Let's look at some of the tabs here. You can filter by markets if you like, and you can even select a particular settlement you want to view in the settlement transaction summary report. So let me give you an example of where the ignore dates comes in handy. So right now we're looking at last month, and let's say we pick this settlement right here from February. We apply, nothing shows up. And the reason being is because all the dates for that particular settlement are not from last month, they're from February. So in order to see those particular transactions from this settlement, we need to ignore the dates. Here they are. And that's where the ignore dates comes in really handy. The reason being is because each transaction for the settlements here has an implied date, start date, end date, deposit date. So you don't really need necessarily to select a date range when you're filtering by settlement. Let's go ahead and reset, and we'll go with the default filters, and we'll look at transactions for last month. There you go. So let me kind of give you an overview of the report itself. The column here is fulfillment. That shows you whether it's Amazon FBA or merchant. We do have a non-Amazon fulfillment transactions here and other transactions. For those of you who don't know, non-Amazon fulfillments essentially when Amazon fulfills an order, but it wasn't sold on Amazon.com. An example of that might be, let's say you sell an item on eBay and you don't have it in stock at your local warehouse, so you tell Amazon to fill this order for you and you ship it from Amazon. That's how you get non-Amazon fulfillments. All right, so let's look at the transactions here. We're looking at order type, refunds, orders, other transactions, amount type. These are different categories that your amounts are in. Descriptions, this gives you a bit more detail as to what these transactions are. The number of transaction column is the number of transactions for each of these descriptions and types. And then of course the amount is the amount that's either credited or debited to your settlement. So looking at all transactions for last month, which is what we searched initially, we can see that our net deposit to the bank account is $89,945.42 with 19,072 transactions. So essentially, this kind of gives you an accounting of the entire month for all of the Amazon sales the revenues, the fees, and the charges. Now from here, you can categorize a variety of different ways your transactions for your accounting purposes. Example might be you can grab this fulfillment column and say, well, I want to look at all of my transactions based on fulfillment. There you go. So now you're looking at your totals based on each fulfillment. You can open up this category right here and you can see all the orders, refunds, types, and descriptions. You can even go one step further and say, well, I want to go ahead and categorize it by type as well. So let's open this back up. As you can see, you have Amazon FBA, the fulfillment type. Now you have your types, order and refund. And now you can see your amount types and descriptions and transactions and amounts by each type. And for more flexibility, we're going to put this back over here. For more flexibility, you can rearrange this a different way. You could say, well, let me just group by amount type first. So now I'm dealing with FBA inventory reimbursements, item fees, item price, other transactions, promotions, shipping fees, and then I'm going to grab my descriptions and I'm going to group this way. Now you can see that you now have your amount descriptions. See how flexible that is? Now I'm not going to sit here and tell you a particular way that you need to do this. You need to talk to your accountant or other accounting professional on how you want to do this. The purpose of showing this is to show you how flexible it is for you to be able to categorize your expenses and charges and revenues any way you want to. For some people, a lot of detail is not necessary, and so grouping it by fulfillment type, for example, may be all you need. And for others, one more step, fulfillment, and then type. And then for others, you may actually want to break this down and look at the amount descriptions too. That's really up to you how you want to account for that kind of stuff. Okay, so we described the different capabilities and groupings within the report and how it can help with your accounting. At this point, it concludes our lessons for the transaction summary report. Let's go to our thank you slide. So to find out more about Communique, contact sales@Altarian.com. For help with Communique, you can contact tech support at Altarian, or you can visit our forum at communique.vbulletin.net, and this is the link for our web help right here. So thanks for your time and for watching this video. We hope it's been helpful in understanding the benefits of using the transaction summary report for your Amazon accounting. Have a nice day. Thank you very much.